was telling homegirl, she was like,
You talking about African babe?
she was like, do you gotta leave? And I'm like, it's called in my body. It's called in my soul. It's called in my mouth. She was just like, I don't want to leave.
Into a whole musical.
I sure no did.
Dancing in the race. It's in my chest.
I gotta let it burn.
She didn't understand it yet.
Nah, she didn't. It's funny. I sing that shit every time in my head though.
Nah.
And I gotta leave a fish.
You. You fucking simp. Sorry, man. You good.
But that's not even sipping though. Like,
No.
How's that sipping?
As soon as I heard "Love in Your Heart," I was just like, "Oh, you." He said, "I don't want to leave." I said, "Oh, you gotta be playing. It's the bump, the niggas."
He just mad because he got his bitch took.
Yeah.
He just mad because he got his bitch took.
You gotta be coming out playing some shit like that.
I'm like, all right, bitch, I'm gonna holler at you later. Shit.
This nigga said, "I don't wanna leave." I said,
but I gotta go right now.
Nah, I ain't mad at you, pimp.
I'll leave you
It
back
be like
before.
that. It do be like that.
I'm hoeing, so
That defeats the purpose of asking how you do
oh man, shit, I'm doing good.
Good,
Goddamn. These past like few days, like this past week or whatever, like I've been I haven't been like too over the top, but I haven't been like necessarily low either.
What you mean?
So like I haven't been like overly like joyed and happy, but I haven't been like depressed or in the slumps either.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I really just been like just taking it day by day, and like
consistency in that.
Yeah, you know, and like being like just in the moment, like in the days, even keel, like not really getting. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And
like
emotions.
Yeah, I really just been like real settled, you know what I'm saying? And like just letting things like go the way that they have to go. Cause I feel like a lot of times when when certain things are happening, I feel like things need to be happening, but I'm like, things are happening, you just like aren't necessarily aware of them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like you know you're working towards something.
Yeah,
with
like
your actions.
time is going
Time
by.
has to tell you.
It has to go by in order for like the thing that you want to actually come to fruition. You know what I'm saying?
Has there been anything that made it easier for you to see that? Like, what's made that so clear?
Lately I've been contributing a lot of what I've been. I guess you can say, thinking better at has been a whole lot to do with door to door, because like in that time you get so caught up in the monotony of coming in the morning, you know, doing all these things and then going to the field and coming back, like, and it's an
energy up.
Yeah, it's an everyday thing, and if you're a leader, you know, you gotta come in for your guys and train, teach, cook, like all type of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I would always have these either weeks where like I would be really off in the beginning of the week and then pick it back up at the end of the week, or I'll be like really good in the beginning of the week and then be off at the end of the week.
Yeah,
you know,
and a full week of just good consistent work. And sometimes even given the effort, you have to have the mindset that like you know, next week. But like sometimes it doesn't. Yeah,
because when you fall off like that, you know, you gotta then remind yourself of just like, all right, like I got, it's more to these moments right here, and I found that that's kind of allowed me to get out of my head and just be like here with shit,
present. You
know, because at that point I won't necessarily feel the need to try to make something happen, because shit is already like happening. It's it's delayed gratification.
I've been struggling with that lately because I'm such an instant gratification guy. Like, so being in the moments and just kind of like being at the loading screen of your progress, it can be frustrating.
Yeah.
Like, goddamn. And I know one of my main issue in door to door that I found, because it makes you really analyze yourself.
Oh yeah.
And it was just my extremes in attitude. Like when you were talking about the weeks where you start off good and then bad, or vice versa. Like that same week in which I like made all those sales in one day and made my $1,000 in that one day, the rest of the week I couldn't match up with it. Like I couldn't find like I think I made like one internet sale after that, and it was just like the highs and lows, and just learning how to deal with the lows a little better.
Yeah, because it comes to a point where when you're like in your head, or the low point comes around, it's really at that point where you have to put in a little bit more extra effort
Right.
to bring yourself out of it.
And what's crazy is it's all mental too.
Oh yeah.
Like, cause the lows, when as I describe them now, like it's not as if my situation has gotten worse. I'm good. It's just mentally, how are you taking on life?
Exactly. Yeah. And I remember someone, I don't know who it was, but just to saying, like, we all have the same 24 hours.
Right.
And in that, it really just determines, like, whatever you want to do with those 24 hours.
Right.
However you want to spend it, But also, again, like, just reminding yourself, like, it's not these day-to-day moments where it isn't anything exciting going on or whatnot.
Right.
It's you can't put yourself in a monotonous mindset like that. It's like things are happening. And if you're doing things accordingly and you have a goal in mind and you're like taking those steps consistently every day, it kind of, you don't look at it as a long span of things where you have to get something right away. It's the process, and that was like that was my team slogan. It was the process over results. I preach that shit heavily. It was the process over the results every time, because if you went out in the field and you were so focused on trying to get a sale, you're not going to get a sale. But if you just do 3 laps on 80 to 100 houses, 30 to 40 talk to
right. They
5 to presentations,
just make sure we filled out our page full of the stuff that we were supposed to do.
And
have
if you
these
do
interactions,
if you do that, like, it's gonna, like, and you focus on the process, because don't call me in the afternoon bitching about how you're not on money yet. It's like, my nigga, you're not even on the 3rd lap yet. you haven't even gotten 5 presentations yet. You're on 1 presentation. Get more presentations. The fuck you calling me for? You know what I'm saying? Like, don't do that, because at that point, like, and I'm saying that because I did that shit. You know what I mean? To develop that mindset, it's like it's like you said, it's a mentality. You have to kind of rework that part of yourself where shit isn't supposed to happen when you want it to happen. Everything is supposed to come when you want it to come.
And speaking of this, what? Oh, you know.
That's when you want it to come.
Goddamn, you was talking about processes and stuff, and it made me think about what we spoke about last week, and I harken back to it when I was talking to I mentioned this one babe that I told you, she seemed like she might be chill. I'm cool. However, like motherfucking interesting conversationalist, when we do converse and just communicate with people, it's easy to get down to the bottom of an issue, or just really have the opportunity to empathize with a person's situation, whatever, and that does help them in a way. It's therapeutic, as she put it, and it made me think of what you said about the whole therapy thing I mentioned, where like I'm of the mind you won't need or shouldn't need necessarily a degree in order to like work in that field. Like what is it? She had mentioned that her therapist, for example, she'll go on to him, and like she didn't get the feeling that, like, when you, and it's a double-edged sword because I would be looking to get paid, but it's just like they're incentivized to just work with you, and it feels like you're getting I don't know, it takes a deeper empathy. I feel like, that's something that can't be taught. I feel.
Well, and I agree with you in that all therapists necessarily aren't great therapists. I was fortunate enough. My therapist, she was the bomb. You know what I mean? And she was able to give me a lot of the tools that I have today that I use to just function. You know what I mean, mentally and emotionally. But some therapists, like you said, they are incentivized just by the pay, and they won't necessarily get to like the root of everything, they'll just want you to just keep coming back and stuff like that. Just to, it's a science. It's like being a doctor. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You don't want to give people the cure. You want to just keep giving like them remedies for things. You know what I mean? Something to alleviate the pain. You don't want to take away the pain. You know, but that's not all of them.
Right.
You know, and
interesting.
And it needs to be though. Despite the fact that anyone can be anyone's like personal relief.
Yeah.
You know, we can all have someone to vent to and to consolidate ourselves with, but the overarching thing though, sometimes it could just be too complicated for just one yourself or the other person. Like it needs to be shelled out properly by people who actually understand like just human psychology.
Yeah, I mean, I understood that where you was coming from with that at one angle. On the other hand, I just it constructs like who created this system that says that we are supposed to do it this way or that way.
As far as what?
Like psychology or being a therapist or what qualifications have to be met in order to quote unquote qualify for something that I don't know. I started to resent, I guess, the well, you call it spade a spade, whatever. Like
just resenting therapy.
Not necessarily therapy, more so than because it was leaning towards like what white people have said like it's supposed to be and whatnot. But then as I started to describe that in my head, I don't know what the origins of these studies are, psychology and stuff.
Well, the psychology class I took back in high school, a lot of it stemmed from just psychoanalysis. You know what I'm saying? They try to study like human nature, patterns in society, and things like that. You know, running experimental tests, with people, and not like anything crazy, but like to see like people's reactions or emotions. Human nature. They even did. I don't know if you've seen this on Netflix, but it was funny because I read this as like a SAT story, and they made a whole movie about it. In the 80s, this I guess you can call them a psychiatrist, whatever. He wanted to do a study on like the prison system and how like it affects people. So he took like a group of all these college kids. It was like 20 of them and shit like that.
I remember what you're talking about.
You know where I'm going with it?
Ended up like killing themselves and stuff like that.
No. It was this ain't Saw, nigga.
I said, yeah. The guards ended up killing them, right? No, but it was one of them where the people that was acting as the guards.
Yeah, there was like, a group there who were acting as like the
it showed
COs.
Their human nature. They were starting to be like,
and the guys who were acting as the prisoners. You know what I'm saying? And it's things like that where those experiments and those human nature tests, they just end up developing just a whole like psychoanalysis of what like the human experience is. You know what I'm saying? And it just helps us with, it has less to do with the I guess like the structure of it, more to do with just like understanding what these things are, because we're complex beings. You know what I'm saying? Like when I first started getting into screenwriting, I bought a whole book on like character writing. Yeah. Because I wanted to write genuine characters. You know what I'm saying? And it gives you like character traits, what they mean, like how they could work in certain scenarios and stuff like that. Like it was a thick ass book and shit like that. Same way with psychology. Same way with being a therapist. You want someone who understands not only personality traits but understands like trauma, who understands just like work stuff, who understands,
can actually break it down to you.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Logically.
Exactly.
I mean, it's not that I couldn't, however, like without the proper knowledge, not necessarily proper knowledge, more so than more knowledge. How would I know how to expound on it on a bigger level?
Like I said before, man, it's only so much that we can like do for ourselves. Like it's only so much.
It's a resistance against limitations. I find myself like anytime I feel like I'm being limited or challenged and or thought to not be able to do something, it's that it's the need of me to prove wrong. Goddamn, I realized that earlier when I was having a conversation with Miss Lady, and I was just. When you're working and it's getting hot, the bitches is out wearing they fucking wrestling suits.
Suns out, buns out.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Goddamn, I was getting frustrated, man. Like I'm sitting here working and stuff, and you were the last one, so like I'm working on myself and shit. So like I'm sitting here working and shit, and so like I mentioned to Shorty, like, yo, it's hard out here for a pill. Yeah, but motherfucking like one of the things that she had mentioned, just like the, but she had made she was trying to give me advice, but the way in which she gave it to me, I re-engineered it in my head, found the problem. I was just like, hold on now, like because I know it felt like she was trying to like put claims on or restrict.
Tell you about yourself.
No, not even like more so. It was a simple terminology. She was just like, just try to keep in mind like. And she used the word respect, and that's what threw me off. I was just like, hold on now, like I respected you when I told you who I am. You know what you know what I mean?
What was the conversation even? 'Cause I'm kind of lost.
Okay, to keep it simply, like, goddamn, I was sexually frustrated, like, you know, temptation all around me. So I hit Shawty up like it was a good idea, like, yo, tell her what I'm going through in my head. And she tries to relay, you know, help to me or advice on how I could, you know, use my brain to get through it. However, like the way in which she tried to help, like I found issue in how she said it, just because when she used the word respect, in that sentence, it was as if I would not be respecting her had I done something that I wanted to do, and that's when I had to put the brakes on it. Like, hold on, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't say that's disrespect, cause like motherfucking we have had this conversation. So like, I don't wanna you know what I mean? Like, I don't wanna.
Because you're being really vague. I'm trying to understand. So she's saying that you were lacking respect because you just wanted to fuck her?
No. She was saying all the temptation that was around me. In order to like keep myself focused, think about just the respect I have for her and that. And that's when I was just like,
the respect I have to keep my what?
Right, and that's when I was just like.
Now that shit don't make no fucking sense. I don't, like, I don't understand that.
Cause like, what is it?
To keep your focus and to not have frustration, you have to think about the respect you have for her.
Right. Just cause, what am I saying here? Well, I'm expounding on a lot here.
I'm just trying to understand, cause like so all right, so boom, right? Like you were saying, it's hot out now. You know what I'm saying? Bitches out.
Right.
You know, sun's out, buns out, fire. You know what I mean? And, you know, obviously, you know, niggas trying to fuck. Mm-hmm. You holla at shorty because you're frustrated and you're trying to fuck.
Not trying to. The thing was, I was just frustrated because, like shorty's at home and stuff. I'm not going to be, I'm not, I didn't plan on, I don't have time. I have, like, the pod to do, work, stuff like that. So I don't plan on seeing shorty for a little bit. So I was just sharing my mindset where I was at, because I'm, like I said, I was working on myself, trying to be more disciplined in my actions and shit. So part of that help with that discipline is like, you know what I mean, keeping shorty in on where I'm at in my progress. And so like when she said that, like motherfucking that. Her trying to use that as a way to motivate me, maybe like that wasn't motivational at all, because I'm not. I start to react as soon as I feel like somebody's trying to restrict me or hold me back from what I want to do or can do or am capable of. Like that's where I was going with that.
Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah.
I was my bad. The vagueness was just coming from.
Yeah,
I noticed the cameras was running, and then I was like, oh shit, hold on.
I was like
talking all my business.
I was like, respect bitches buns. I don't know what to say.
Sun's out and respect.
I was like,
what they do with it? He said, what they do with this? Shit.
But I feel you, dog, because I I don't necessarily like. I read you that post that I had in my hard drive from way back when, about like how I don't like constricting and like people like putting like things on me to like confine me. I understand that feeling.
Makes me wanna
rebel. I'm going to rebel.
I'm going to rebel.
You know,
but like
But there are some instances though that I had to kind of like really just take a step back to like really understand what people were saying to me, and not only what, but like why they were saying it to me.
Right.
A lot of times we get caught up in the what instead of like why are they telling me this. You know what I mean? Like, what's the actual reason why you're telling me this?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times, people will tell you things for just any sort of reason. But in this specific context, though, if someone is like, I feel like in that moment, like, it had less to do with Shorty and more to do with just like you. And what I mean by that,
and that's exactly what I told her this morning when I had double back. I just had to, apologize because like I felt bad for in hindsight at least. It took me a moment, but I felt bad for like. You know what I'm saying? Just being as rash. Like I ain't disrespectful. However, I'm just very blunt, and so like what I say may come off as cold, and so yeah, I felt bad about that, and like when I did say that, I was just shit. You just said it. What I had repeated to her. Fuck.
About what, like the
it's more about me than it was about her. Yeah, that was 100% true. Like all this has more to do with me and my own self-talk than it has to do with anybody outside of me. So
I think also too, like I was talking to my mom about this the other day. We went to the mall. It was like sitting down and like eating, and I was like these days, like more and more as I'm starting just to like just expand my horizons and experience things, and specifically with women now. What I feel like is really gonna start helping me out is the fact that I want to be a little bit more like just picky, you know what I mean, with the women I deal with. Like I don't,
man,
like just because I can like fuck a lot of these bitches, most of them, doesn't mean I necessarily should. Or a lot of times it's just like, do I even necessarily even want to? Like, do I really
be eating with my eyes, man.
Like, cause at that point, like, cause I'll. Like, for example, right, I'll be on Tinder, like, for like 15 minutes and like swiping match and not liking you, liking her, and it's like you match, you visually see the potential, you know what I'm saying, but it's just like, well, is it really like, do you really want all that?
I noticed for me, my issue in this, because we were talking about the journey and learning how we want to operate, especially with women. And my main issue is my value system. Like, yeah, for the most part, like I can't see me going any further than sex. Like I don't see it. A lot of times, and it's framework that I got to work my mind out of, but I'll see a woman and I just want to see what her body looks like. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just like, so it makes it doubly difficult for me because I ain't got no pics. So like there's a lot of options that look like.
I ain't got no type.
You know what I'm saying? And then like you eating with your eyes, and like, man, it be like, I notice how hard it'd be for me to tell, like, I'll be feeling bad that I didn't talk to a bitch. Like I let a bitch, like, or a woman, excuse me, like,
yeah, we let a bitch.
You get me? I don't mean it disrespect you, man. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, like,
it's me. Oh, now your time it is.
Yeah, man, like, I feel bad over missing a bitch, like not getting her number or giving her my number, or like just making the move. Because while on one hand I'm wise enough to know that like this This won't go anywhere. I don't plan on taking this nowhere but sex. And even if it gets there, like what waste of time type shit. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to learn the discipline.
And you spoke to it. You said the word like value is really just like how much you value these bitches. Like you know what I mean? Because that really determines what is gonna like get you what it is that you want. You know what I'm saying? And like and we talk about this shit all the time, dog. Like if you don't have to.
You just said it. That's get what you want. What did you mean in that context?
I was gonna say that you getting what you want is like just like you said, just sex with these bitches. Like you're just trying to fuck, right?
Okay. Because you said value system, and I'll get what I want based off of what's important to me,
right?
Which is the sex. Okay.
Right.
Okay,
so and how you value, women in this way, like that's this is like the I guess you can say this is the outcome of it. Like you shouldn't really be. I feel like you're kind of sometimes expecting or trying to determine a little bit more than what things actually are for yourself. At least in this instance.
What do you mean?
So
because I was about to say it's not. Part of me doesn't want to be this way.
Mm-hmm.
And like I feel like I used to be more communicative. Like I used to be able to be more friendly and just see more than sex in a woman. I used to be able to see them in women like people too. Like and like after I started having sex, it ruined me. Like
we potted it.
It ruined me. Like I noticed, and I only speak of this now. In hindsight, it's so clear to me how I just started to devalue women, and it. Of course, with that kind of brain, it makes it hard to unwire all that bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, I know, yeah, it's been like a strict rule of mine. I can't just be your friend, like I'm gonna be attracted to you, and like, then after a while, it just became like a thing of tolerance, like what I'm willing to tolerate, this, that, and da da da, and I just, you get very comfortable because
this is what lately a lot of what like which Trey be singing about is like debating on like just living this playboy lifestyle or actually just wanting to just have like these kind of relationships with like these women in his life, what I mean? Like genuine quality ones,
because they're great. They are great,
and what helps me is to know that the reason why nowadays I'm not really gonna fully like just have this one girl's like, because I always say, is this good ones and then there's bad ones. You're gonna run into a lot of good ones, a lot of them all the time, but then it's like you can't just like take just one of them.
I will say, given this this discipline that I have been working on, like it's been challenging.
I'm trying to clear my throat. It's early, goddamn.
It's all good.
I was drinking.
He had a great pie. Yeah, man. But motherfucker, I will say
it was so fun. I mean to cut you off, but yo,
she great, daddy.
She was like, I was with her right before I left. She was like, so like, she was like, when do you she asked on the pod. She was like, when you gonna tell me what the podcast is? I was like,
She gonna listen to this like, you son of a bitch. You applied on this pussy before you ever do.
She was like, hey, what pussy for you, nigga?
You just knew, huh?
She hit me up like, you bitch. You know you messing with
everything you did. And all the motherfucker who let you do it.
You get more coochie.
She's like, yo.
No, it's not. It's not Google. It's gay.
Speaking of which, part of that conversation me and Shawty had, and I wanted to get your opinion on this, because, like, goddamn, I think we've discussed this before, like, and I've been all in on this, and I think I can just call a spade and go to say, motherfucking, a woman has a vagina for a reason. I've spit in a girl's ass and shit. I've gone as far as to put my thumb in your ass and stuff, but to fuck a woman in the ass, I'm cool. I can't do that. To each his own. However, I have the idea that, like, motherfucker, you can do that to a woman. You can do that to a man. Like, they got the same parts. Like,
as a man who's done this, and we'll never do it again. Let's say
I never knew.
let's just say I had a shitty experience.
Oh.
You wanna know my opinion? Don't.
Yeah, you ain't gotta tell me once.
Don't,
but that was
nigga.
the thing with me. I was just
Don't.
like, dog, I never
Bitch had a nerve.
and no temptation for it.
Bitch had a nerve to be like, I was like, oh shit. She like, really? I was like, you fucking man.
Yo, there, and that's sure. I'm gonna tell you what, man. Oh yeah, but that's what the point I was making before we start laughing. But fucking working for me at least. Like, and I mean I've had my balance. I'll say. However, with my kind of focus and my patience level and what I'm gonna tolerate, sometimes one is enough.
Yeah, for sure.
Sometimes I'm good. Like yeah, like sometimes I'm just like so focused on what I'm doing and shit. Like I don't feel like spreading my energy or attention around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's why, like, I don't know if you remember this conversation that we had, like, like a few months ago, about how I was saying, like, you know, I just want a group of like 2-3 women, 4 who are just good.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, they enjoy me, I enjoy them. Like, they have things going on with them. Like, they're just quality women. You know what I'm saying? At that point, I would feel a little bit more, like, satisfied. Because to me...
It's ideal, like you would think, right?
Yeah, for sure. You know, and more that I'm starting just to live this life, I think it's possible. You know what I mean? I think it's more than feasible.
It's more than possible.
Because when I was doing it before, like, I was, you know, I just had a regular just rotation. Like, I didn't really look at most of them in that way. You know what I mean? It was just like for fucking, and that's it. You know, and like 1 or 2 of them I actually spent genuine time with.
Yeah.
But like I said, for me, it's I really want to spend more of that genuine time with women who I actually find to be interesting. And
that's why I find this experience having unique, just because I stumbled upon it. I was never intending on, you know me, you know my lifestyle. Like, I was never intending on like meeting another person that was cool enough to actually, you know, be around. like motherfucking yeah. So, and there's a reason in the season. Like my mom always told me. So like I try to be very keen on, you know, whether the season's up. You know, and I don't hold, you know what I mean? I don't hold nothing. Like, I let shit just be what it is. But I'll tell you what, I'll be damned. I'll be controlled. I just can't. I don't know.
Relationships are restricted, man. They just
and
are.
Like that's the thing too. Like motherfucking. And that was why I was speaking so vaguely too. I didn't want to give the incorrect impression on the understanding.
Yeah.
However, yeah.
But we understand what it is.
We understand what we're talking
what
about.
it is. But like I said, relationships are restricting, and also they feel restricting when you have an abundance mindset.
Indeed. So indeed. Yo, I saw this post just recently talking about it's kind of the same concept that I was saying to Shawty, when it was just like you think money can't buy it. The dude said you think money can't buy happiness, you just don't know where to shop. Like Like,
That's
you
good.
know what I'm saying? He was like, if love solved the world's problems, you wouldn't be here. And he was just going off it. But I agree 100%. Like, my mom had put it into my mind a long time ago. Like, and it was already in my mind when we was broke. Like, money is not a bad thing. Like, having money is not a bad thing, and like having a bad mindset towards it, as if you don't need to be rich to be happy, you got it all fucked up, man.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the misconception is like rich. You want to just be financially well off. You want to be financially free, and you don't have to necessarily be rich to do that.
Nah.
We don't gotta be big balling, big pimping on yachts and mansions type time to be
Nah,
fucking.
but when I imagine a lot of money, I don't imagine the aesthetics, you know, the yachts and big
What
balling.
I'm referring to is the fact that like to be rich, it's usually associated with like a certain lifestyle. But there's rich motherfuckers right now who own 2 houses, who have like a summer home and have 1 or 2 businesses, and they make just $1 million a year, a little bit over. But that's not necessarily even like big time compared to some other successful entrepreneurs or athletes or what have you.
I mean, but here goes that limitation feeling again. Like, I feel like that's a limited mindset. Like, motherfucking.
Well, I'm not saying it's limited. I'm just saying like it's levels to what rich is and what's successful and financially well off. Is levels. To that
this
shit.
I understand. I just I would hate to. I feel like comfortable mindsets or conforming is contagious, and so that's part of what I was telling Shawty, that I fear to like in people. Like if I see that in you, then like I try to space it out of my circle. The circle's so small because the mindsets have to be very specific in order to be qualified. If we're talking qualifications, what you laughing at?
I was thinking of a Drake bar here. Circle got so small, it's now it's period.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, goddamn, so, like, that's one of my main concerns when I be making decisions with, like, my time. Time has been big on, like, for the past, I don't know, it's had to be a couple months now, but time has been a really big deal in my life. Like, do you feel it?
Time has really been like when I worry about time, I don't get a lot done. I feel like if I'm concerned with myself with the amount of time I have, I begin to feel a little bit too like pressured, and then it's like anxiety, and then it's like just it's too much. Like
maybe that's why I've been living the way I've been living.
Cause in reality, like I said before, we all got to say in 24 hours, and I'm optimistic. Like I know I'm gonna live, you know, a relatively long life, and I wanna again understand that shit is gonna take time, and that I don't necessarily have to be like for example, the life that I want to live for myself and like the lifestyle that I see for myself, I know what's gonna happen. I understand the work that needs to be put in. It's just that I then now have to start doing the work. Right. Less concerned with the time. You want to have a reasonable destination of when you want to get something done. Right. That's a proper goal. But you don't also want to set that deadline when a lot of times just life itself is its own deadline.
Speaking of life, I was watching an interview with Noam Chomsky. You ever heard the name? Goddamn.
Sound like a Monsters Inc. character. I was Mike Wazowski, nigga. James P. Sullivan. What the fuck?
Noam Chomsky.
He sound like the spider nigga.
Spider nigga.
And for Monsters Inc., the main dude.
I ain't seen it.
Mr. Water News.
I was about to get it wrong. Yeah, you said Mr. Water News. I said, oh, the lizard. Do you mean the invisible lizard? I said, Kobe? Oh, shit.
This is between the legs.
That shit kills me every time. He's like, oh, you gotta do the. You gotta look stupid as fuck when you say it too. Oh.
Oh shit.
Shit, I forgot.
Oh.
Kobe show. That's fucked up. What is Kobe Shelby?
Oh my god, yo, I hate niggas. I hate niggas, man.
That's funny as shit.
Yeah, Chomsky.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But about this nigga, he said that like it's a known, pretty much fact in science right now that in about a decade, if we don't get global warming under control, that we're going to be at the tipping point where we cannot return from, wherein we'll be about 35, 40 maybe, when the world's changing like that. Time. Like, how does that, if that, and there, like he said, say I'm holding this phone, and I let it go, there's, it's a fact that it's going to drop, and there is the slightest probability that it could go up, but more than likely it's going to drop, and that's how confident they are in this fact. And so while it may not happen, there's a chance we can avoid it. It's looking like that is the course that we're on. How does that make you look at time?
It's out of my control, man.
It is out of your control.
And I can't even think about that shit because it's like, then what's the point of all this shit?
Precisely. And that's where
it's too.
I gotta have a stronger mentality.
It's not even stronger. You just gotta have an optimistic one. You can be optimistic and
strength.
also real. Like
That's
literally,
strength.
I put that in my notes. I'm like, I'm very optimistic, but I'm also very real with myself. Like, I can see the good in things, but I also know everything ain't the shit. Everything isn't perfect. Everything isn't great. Everything isn't fine and dandy.
Yeah.
But that though, it's like. I mean, like, nigga, we all gonna die. It might be sooner or later. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna be the one to try to just overexert myself just in my head for what I perceive to be a short amount of time. Because I don't fucking know. You know what I mean? I just don't know.
And I'm a man of extremes, so like motherfucking, while some days like I'll just be ready to, I'll just be on top of the world. The next day, I'll be thinking about these kind of things, like how finite the world and all this really is, and what really matters when you get down to the bottom of things. And then at that extreme, I'm just not motivated to do anything because it's like, where is this going?
Yeah, but that's the thing, dog. Like, it's more to life. You know what I mean? Like, we're still young, and if that is the case, that's 10 years from now.
Oh yeah.
That's
a small fraction of the things I be factoring in. But I'm just giving you examples of how
in the context of
my
that,
extremities.
Like, whatever the level is, dog. Like, it's so much more to life. We have time. You gotta be able to just step outside of yourself, the same way you step outside of yourself and think these existential things where what really matters, what's important. You gotta step outside yourself and also ask yourself, well, what does matter? What is important? Because at that point, when you put those things together, you live a lot more peaceful lifestyle. But then you also begin to take things less for granted. You begin to see like the value more in things. You're a whole lot more patient. It's less anxiety filled, and you just begin to understand like things are happening the way they should be happening.
Understood.
So again, I go back to me. Like these past few weeks, I'm just like, man. I remember I was in such a rush to fucking move out this last month.
I feel that.
But now that I know it's coming up and it's right around the corner and I haven't even started packing yet. You know what I mean? It's like it's been happening this whole time.
Yeah.
And the eagerness I felt to get back, in the field or by the field I mean just dating.
Yeah.
The eagerness I felt to even just like start the pod, like shit is going to happen. Like if you want it to happen, it's gonna happen.
100%.
You can't really call it one. Like we can't control all these factors, but when shit is supposed to happen, it's supposed to happen.
No, I'm not one to I'm not one anymore. I used to place a lot of stock in like the horoscope type shit. However, like luckily the lady that I was faithful to that put out tarots every month, she stopped doing it, and I had to keep living life based on my own terms. But recently I did that psychological test thing, and it was speaking to a lot of characteristics that I found that I carried when it said I was a logician, as far as being too logical in thought and mind and how I operate. And it spoke to how we're very creative thinkers. However, like we get so stuck in thought that we get to the end of that process before we even
And then you burn
start.
yourself out.
Yeah,
That's one of my issues that I kind of had to stop doing, like that over processing thought, like thinking
Yeah.
like every individual thing up until the final destination. You put your mind through all the work before you're actually able to put yourself through the work,
yeah,
and then don't even want to do it anymore.
yeah. It's just like that. In fact, I sent you the link so that you could try it. Now, I wonder what your
Oh yes.
what your characteristic was.
And I was so hyped too, because like I said, I love personality quizzes. Like growing up, man, I used to take them shits. It was this website called like Quizlet or whatever.
Nah, I just remember you. You know, you hated. You had a thing where you hated being called an asshole.
Oh yeah.
And I just imagine you took the personality.
You're an asshole.
Like,
They're wrong.
they're wrong. Yeah, you take more tests.
I remember I'll take them shits like,
Dickhead. Stop calling you.
you're a son of a bitch. I'm like, hell. I answered everything honest.
You know what? Shit, I was supposed to say, but we ain't got no Patreon to put that type shit on. I'm gonna leave that out, but it was funny.
But I used to take them shits right, and goddamn, they would have like little ones, like it would be like my dumb young ass like, what kind of Naruto character are you? I'm like, oh, I hope I'm Sasuke.
This nigga be Minato.
Yo, all type of shit. It'd be like,
Wait,
what,
that's a good thing.
like what kind of like
That's
just
not bad.
it'd be like, what kind of Naruto character are you? Like what kind of fucking just anything are
I meant
you?
to say Hinata. I gave you a compliment. You said you Minato. And then I saw the. And my brain just. I was like, oh shit.
They're trying to call a nigga a bitch, but it ain't work.
Yeah.
He's like,
This nigga's the best.
you know, fuck.
In a fuck
This nigga say the village.
This nigga dead.
This nigga dead.
Nigga. Give me that great. That's it.
And lately, this shit pissed me off. Like, I'm gonna get into my results, but I hate how motherfuckers like when they talk about like their horoscopes or like their
I was about to say, it said you were Gemini.
well, obviously, but it's like there were people always be like, oh, I'm so bipolar. I'm like, y'all not even Geminis. Y'all don't understand what the fuck. I hate when people say, I got two sides.
That sounds
Shut
like,
the fuck up.
That sounds like a Gemini talking though. You sound all vain. Like,
But no,
you gotta
it's
be
like-
a Gemini to be bipolar.
No, but not even that. It's just like when people say like, I got two sides. I'm just like, that's not even your sign though. Like, don't claim that.
Be a
Like,
whole Aquarius.
now for real, because it makes me mad. Because for the longest time, people will rag on Gemini. I was like, y'all evil, y'all terrible people and shit like
I
that.
wouldn't know. Like,
But it's just like,
knowing you, that's the only reason I've been introduced to the stigma against Geminis.
Man.
Not that I have it, because I know you're a Gemini. It's like when you have I got a yellow truck, now I see more yellow trucks.
right.
You know what I mean? Like,
But even then, it's just like, yo, I hate that shit just because like I said, it's just, I don't know, that little thing, it just makes me upset. I'm just like, don't say you got two sides. Y'all not even know fucking Gemini. Shut the fuck up, you fucking Virgo, or you fucking,
I got two sides.
you fucking Taurus. Like, I hate Taurus.
I'm many rabbit.
This nigga said, man. This nigga said, I'm really. Fucking retarded.
Nah, I was about to say, you'd have lost your results,
No,
didn't you?
I saved it. I saved it.
I
saved it.
I said, this nigga look at.
I said, I'm saying the whole test again.
I said, this nigga think he's slick about to talk me over his quiz. Nigga, who are you?
You ain't cool. You bitch.
I said, take the mask off. Give me a whole.
I never knew.
Speaking of which, like, goddamn, I'm thinking about the beard and stuff, and I was just like, oh, see, that was another concept. I gotta get a beard. These bitches choosing up. They don't want the young boy looking ass nigga. I said, alright, bet,
Man, fuck all that. And I'm gonna get this fucking results after this fucking last thing. But I went on this bitch's page, right? And I do from time to time to like kind of like see like just what like, cause you can get kind of caught up in like just how you are, right? At least I do. I get kind of caught up just in myself. I don't really pay attention to what other niggas got going on.
Yeah.
But I decided to go on this one girl's page and see who she was following.
Oh, and to say that, I'm that's a self-deprecating joke I make. I'm okay with not having a beard.
Yeah,
I've given up.
Man, you know what I'm saying? It's coming in.
Don't you play with me. Niggas, if you got you, I'm going to scrub your center chin.
I mean, like, you know, you coming in, you know,
I'm over here looking like your son.
What you doing in there, boy?
I'm the older cuz. Looking like the little cuz.
I'm big rapping.
I'm Mr. Man. Oh, that was
man.
That was stupid.
I'm a man's man.
I'm Mr. Man. Some jokes I just gotta stop while I'm ahead.
So like I was looking on this girl's page and like just seeing like who she follows and everything, and then like I noticed like she just followed us a whole bunch of like this hood dudes and everything. I'm like, none of these niggas look like me at all. Like this hood dudes like tatted like.
That's it.
They get up on page.
You went on that page and said, yo, I'm dead. You thought it was a sticker?
Your face, you did that shit. Your lip was like you said.
I have to see that shit back. Oh my god. Oh, dude.
This nigga gangsterlicious.
Oh, don't play with. Oh, I thought you were trying to call me Thugalicious. I said, don't try to play with that nigga.
No, I thought his name was Gangsterlicious.
The dude from Boondocks? Nigga, you the one who had cable, and I'm getting this right. It was Thugalicious, and I ain't him. Nigga, I know how he inspired them kids. Don't try to play me, nigga.
So like whole bunch of hood dudes and everything, like, and it made me realize I was like, man, like these bitches are gonna like whatever the fuck they're gonna like. It doesn't even matter,
right.
Cause and even then I think about like just again Tinder, like how many bitches like I match with, like who else could it be matching with? You know what I mean? All these niggas they match with don't look like me.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
If anything, I think I learned this lesson as a kid. Like motherfucking, I was cute to bitches. I wasn't like I wasn't sexy to bitches when I was in like middle school, high school, and shit. So,
and a woman would like you for the same reason she wouldn't like another nigga.
Right, like
and vice versa.
Yeah, like motherfucking, I just. It all culminated to me realizing, I mean, if these bitches is choosing up, I'm not about to be out here getting caught up in like, you know, who they choosing and shit. I'm not even going to get my, you know what I mean? I accepted my role as the in-between guy. Like, when you searching for the one, like, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, that
what helped me out was
that probably added to what I am as an adult now.
What helped me out is just being like, man, just to save myself the time, I only want to mess with girls who want to mess with me. Like
right.
I'm not gonna go out my way to really try to raise your interest. Like you should, like if you're interested in me and I find you to be that appealing as well, we can make something work. That's why I appreciate when like girls hit me up first. I'm just like, I like that because now you're showing me your interest. You're not so like, nigga, you gotta hit me up first time. It's like there's like something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't gotta do all that shit.
Tell me like she had me fucked up. She was like, I was going twerk for you but like you changed my vibe cause
yo bitches are so entitled.
Yeah, and then
like, I'm not
like,
losing out on your used up box, bitch. I'm not missing out on none of that shit.
What I say, goddamn,
stinking ass.
I said, I mean, that's cool. Like, goddamn. And she said, I was like, what am I going to do? Like, I can't control you. I ain't going to make it. I ain't tripping. And she was like, but you can, da 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 da. And I was like, bitch, you, what? Like, it's just like, you want me to. I've been in sales a long time. I used to, like, motherfucking have to, sell people to get my check. Like, motherfucking, I'm not about to say, like, you think I'm trying to work you and play these games with you? Like,
Nah.
and it made sense. Is she younger than me, 98 or something? Born? Like,
Shit,
I was like,
fucking
okay,
bad.
man. Like, this is
But let's get into
got me
these
fucked up. Oh yeah, let me see
these personalities. Also, I'm a commander.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And it was funny because I was reading this with my mom, and she was like, "Yeah, you get it from me," like the whole time. So I'm gonna go off on this shit from the just like the introduction, I guess.
Yeah.
We're gonna go into everything.
Yeah,
But
these details.
it says as a commander, your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Was I just saying that? Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary. That was by Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs.
Yeah, he said that quote.
Okay.
The actual introduction of it is commanders are natural born leaders. People with this personality type embody the gifts of charisma and confidence and project authority in a way that draws crowds together behind a common goal. However, commanders are also characterized by an often ruthless level of rationality, using their drive, determination, and sharp minds to achieve whatever end they've set for themselves. Perhaps it is best that they make up only 3% of the population, lest they overwhelm the more timid and sensitive personality types that make up much of the rest of the world. But
before you continue, do you know what the acronym for it is?
it's ENTJ
ENTJ.
A, and then like
Assertive. ENTJ.
and then ENTJ.
Do you know which one? Were you assertive or turbulent?
I hadn't even like gotten all. I really just read up to like just strengths and weaknesses and shit like that.
Yeah. Let's see.
But I was like, nigga, commando.
Going commando. He said, I'm raw like
a
a
red
red
meat.
meat.
Here you go again
Oh.
with me, and you didn't meet. What you looking for?
It breaks down like the percentage in which you're this and that, or what side you're
Oh,
towards.
that's in the email. It's right here.
Okay, bad. Yeah. So you A.
Well, 81% judging.
When it break that down, it didn't mean you was judgmental though. It was more so like how you. I forget how they put it. That's what I was looking for when I was just searching on my shit, but I couldn't find it. So, I deleted them all, like on the picture, because I was just clearing them.
But it was really interesting. Like it's the more I was like reading into it, so like because I don't always want to be in a leadership role majority of the time, just because I know how like because once I have like a set like vision in mind or a set goal and people are involved in it, I want shit to get done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I kind of had to learn what actual true leadership is, again, back to door to door, and understand what that actually took and what it takes. Like, because in my mind, like, leadership at first was just like, in my head, as my parents. You know what I mean? Like, they were my leaders growing up. So, how they decided to lead me and my brother and just cultivate our family, that was like the only image I had in my head. So I was of the belief that, you know, you have to be a little bit more like forthcoming, you have to be a little bit more like harder, and like just tell people what the fuck to do. You know what I mean? But that's not really what a leader does.
Yeah, I was about to say.
You know,
leaders are loved and respected.
Yeah, and well, some leaders are feared. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And
like the best of them.
Yeah, and
like you get more out of your people with I don't think you get as much out of your people with fear as you do with respect.
That's something that's always been debated upon, like just like the science of leadership, because you know, when they compare, like, let's say like an Egyptian pharaoh and what they've accomplished to someone like a successful like a Gary Vee who's like loving and caring, who gives a fuck about their people, you know, what results. Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yeah, the guy that wrote the book and stuff, and that was the motivational speaking guy.
Yeah, the nigga all over like the internet who has like a social media company and everything. Yeah.
What about him when it comes to? We were just talking about
It's about leadership.
Oh, okay. I was like, because you went from pharaohs to Gary Vaynerchuk.
I'm saying this comparatively.
It totally made me forget we was talking about leaders.
Yeah, like those are two totally different type of leaderships, and like it's hard to say like what would get the most out of like the people who you're trying to lead. You know what I'm saying? Results do vary. However, in that situation, in that environment that I was in, I couldn't be no fucking dictator. I couldn't just like tell people what to do. I couldn't just get upset when you weren't doing something right. I had to just learn that as a leader, you know, you want to give your people the tools, you want to teach them the systems, you don't want to micromanage them, and you want them to
you want them to be able to work independently.
You want them to be on their own and come to you, you know, for, you know, advice and networking and stuff like that, and remind them of the common goal. And more as I went into that, I did less telling people what to do and just suggesting.
Mm-hmm.
People would be like, you know, oh, like, Cole, like, how come we gotta practice pitch so much? I don't want to practice pitch. Hey, look, that's fine. You know, you don't have to. However, when we go out in the field today and it's your turn to pitch people at the door, you know, you're probably not gonna know what to say. So it's whatever you want to do. All right, how you doing? Niggas be mad as shit, like, because at that point, I'm not gonna tell you what to do.
Right.
And the more and more,
I'm not babysitting here.
I'm not babysitting you. I don't even, truthfully told, I don't even like telling people what the fuck to do. I really don't, because again, I don't want to.
I like you to know what to do.
Yeah, well, sometimes people just don't, and
or know what you have to do. Like, you know what I mean? The reason you had gotten in that position, I know, like, I hadn't made it to leadership, like, as far as like building a team and stuff, like, again, mentality issues. Like, I had to get myself together, and I didn't want. Also, you know how you get what you want. Mm-hmm. Like, if you really want something, you'll put in the actual actions to get it. I must have not really wanted to get that because I wasn't putting in the work that I needed to do, well enough in that business. Again, very bad mentality. However, I noticed that, where was I going with that? We were just talking about
leadership, and that you weren't necessarily going for it, and that how you
but
don't want to babysit. You want people to know what they should already be doing.
That's what it is. The reason you had gotten to that point is because you started at the same place they did, and you just put in the work. So like, it's not like a rocket science to it. If like you consistently work at your mentality, your attitude, and you can get there. It's so for the dude to be saying stuff like, I don't want to practice, basically. It's like, who wants to babysit that out of you? It's like you could see from your view that it takes a certain kind of person to even see things this way.
Yeah, and also too, what you have to deal with,
or a certain like a discipline.
Yeah, you gotta have to understand, like I said, you know, where they're coming from. You know, like you have to understand like who is a part of your team, like, and what kind of. Because people, they don't know about that business. They come into it not understanding what shit is and why we do the things that we do.
Right.
So
it's like a science to it.
Yeah. So when you have to like tell them like why we do things and get them to understand that it's important and that it works, then and only then will you begin to get the results out of your people.
Right.
You know, and I had to understand that, which is why like anyone can make it into leadership. And then, like, you know, you do 8 sales back to back, or you do 10 in a week, and then, you know, you're a leader. But then I remember
that's why also it's so challenging to maintain.
Right, and I remember Aaron, like, he got to the point where he was like, you know, I don't give a fuck how many sales you do. If you're not like acting as a leader,
right,
I'm not gonna promote you.
You're not gonna get promoted.
I'm just not.
Yeah, that was like, I thought that was the borderline rule. Like your sales aren't gonna make you the leader, because if you can't teach people how to get those sales, then what kind of leader are you?
Yep. And at that point, you know what I mean. When I had like the biggest team in the office, and all my guys, were high rolling and shit like that, and we were, right before the pandemic and everything, and I was double training and shit. You know what I mean? Had this many leaders and shit was going like I was at a high just because it was like I didn't know I could just even do something like that.
Yeah, don't it feel so good? Like when it's like coming out of a pitch all smooth.
And man, listen, and more to do with just the fact that I didn't know I could just lead people.
Yeah.
Didn't know. And so when that came up as a commander, I'm just like, that made more sense to me now because I was actually able to put it into practice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because if I would have got that shit maybe like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I'd be like, this is some bullshit. Like, who the fuck, like, you know what I mean? I would take that as being bossy.
No, it's not.
But after that experience, I'm just like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then more and more, like, I look back on that shit, like, I'm talking to Jose just like a few weeks ago. And, and like I said, he's fully promoted now. Like, he's going to be opening up his own office and shit like that. But it's like, I trained that nigga. I interviewed that nigga. I hired him. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was there with him.
What fruit came from your leadership?
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I think about that kind of shit, and I'm just like, man, like, regardless, me and my mom were having this conversation about that.
That's powerful.
The influence that I carry, you know what I mean? I don't like to be all over the place with people, but the people who I genuinely do come around, like, there is an impact made in some degree, whether it be large or small, and I acknowledge that, and I always look to just try to be the best version of me.
Yeah.
In whatever way possible. So that way, when people come to me and they look to me and they know that I'm here, like, they know they're gonna get the best version of Cole, like, every time.
It's a testimony to your life, really, as long as I've known you, at least. Just because, like, I think we discussed it in the first episode briefly, but like as introductory to how we met and everything. But when I consider what you just said, the elements you bring to life for people, like, I think of what would my life have looked like without this friendship, who knows, it's too far in the past now to, like, put together enough domino effects for it to make sense.
It wouldn't be this. The answer wouldn't be this.
But, like, I just know, what is it? You've always brought an optimism to things.
Yeah.
I can definitely say that is a track record of yours, just based off of how you are. It's not even a thing you try to do.
I even told
or at least it seems like that from the outside.
I even told homegirl, because I told you about the first night when I chilled with her and everything, and, like, we stopped halfway and stuff like that, and, like, I talked to her about what was going on in her head, and we talked about that experience just a few days ago before I seen her last night. And I was telling her, I was honest with her. I was like, I prayed about it because I didn't know if I should have done that or not. Because usually, if something's going on these days now, I would care less. I would just be like, all right, bitch, you deal with that, I'm out. But I felt inclined to figure out what was wrong with this girl. You know what I mean? And then I ended up sympathizing with her and being like, oh, like, I get it now. Like, she's this, and I can then make more sense of what we could potentially be, whatever that would be. And she appreciated my honesty so much, and she was like, I'm glad that you felt like that you had to talk to me about that, and now I feel just a whole lot more comfortable being around you.
Right.
And I'm like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, this shit made sense.
The same babe that I said I would never entertain just because, that I'm cool off that. It seemed like drama, but like, motherfucking part of that conversation, it was a good conversation, and that's how we kind of got there. Just having that like empathy, like, you really you can. And I think for me, it's less so that I'm empathetic and more so that I like breaking down problems. I like problem solving. Like, I don't want to solve people's problems for their lives and stuff like that. Like, I don't want to get in your life. I just like to discuss and deduce the mind and actions and, like, psychology, basically. And I should probably explore like, further into those kind of realms.
Yeah, I mean, because you can pick apart anybody and see what is actually who they are and what they are. But then it becomes a point of, like, relating or empathizing with these things.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And then like actually putting yourself in their shoes and really understanding where they're coming from. And
I'm able to do that though. You know, is that No,
I'm not saying you aren't.
Okay. my bad.
Yeah, and that's the one thing about you too. I didn't get to talk. You be like, well, I ain't say all that. Like, you know I can do these things. Like,
I'll be thinking.
they could be on the defense all the time.
All the time. Like, all the time.
Don't limit me. Nigga be wild.
Yeah, like, what's wrong with me, man?
Nigga be wild.
Nigga trying to get better, man.
Nigga KJ in the morning.
I'm trying to get better, man. That's all I'm trying to do, man.
K's lying.
Shit, you talking about you needed to pray? I said, when you said that, I said, nigga, you pray. I said, you lying. I said, this nigga was praying for that. Never mind. But I no more jokes on that.
But now I'm even curious too, because I didn't even get into like the romantic relationships part of it, and I really just want So it says, as in other areas of their lives, commanders approach dating and relationships with a set of goals and a plan to achieve them, and proceed to do so with impressive energy and enthusiasm. People with a commander personality type are in it to win it, and will gladly take leading roles in relationships from start, assuming personal responsibility for how smoothly things go, and working actively to ensure a mutually rewarding experience. Romantic relationships are serious business, and commanders are in it for the long haul.
Long haul head ass. Nah, but ain't nothing wrong with that. Like, when I listen to that, that does like ideally speak to what you have mentioned looking for, you know, and I think like in these stages is where you perfect in that lane, in which like I was happy that I did at least send it, because I found a screenshot of my romantic relationship area.
What that shit say?
And it just says, as introverts.
Wait, what was yours again?
Logician.
Okay.
Yeah, just the logical, you know.
The fact that your ass was like, you're probably the hero, the protagonist. I was like,
because I was sitting there like I was waiting for your response to see what you was, because I was already up. I'm excited. So I'm like, man, this nigga ain't that fast enough. I said, I bet he said this. Trying to answer it as you, and then it gave me those results. I said, motherfucker, I know you so well. He said, nope. I said, you liar. You lied. I chose the right answers for you. I'm right.
He said, I'm right. It was wrong as hell.
2 lefts. But what did y'all say? As introverts, logicians appreciate alone time. That's me. But that doesn't mean they don't crave companionship. For people with this personality type, the ideal romantic partner isn't just someone to pass the time with, but an equal who can challenge their ideas. Logicians want to spend their life in pursuit of learning and growth. They hope that the person they love will not just share this mission, but also actively encourage it. Now, didn't we speak about that? I was like, yo, that's me. That's you. I would tap you up, but you never had. That should be like, splash. Baby, we don't need no time.
I'm gonna shake your hand with my wet hand now.
I did not know where you was about to go. I'm gonna take my hand and meet your dick. I did not know. I just was looking for the rocks. And I knew it was like, ow. So I was like, oh, it was mouth. All these bad sounds. Right, all the bad shit was just coming out. I was like, oh, shit. He said, I'm gonna take your head. I said, oh. Where this nigga going?
I'm fired up.
I'm fired up. You want a little book.
You gotta fire it up.
That's my shit.
He said it got him fired up.
You want a little book, got him fired up. Put a gun to your head and fire it up. You dumb motherfucker. Oh, it's mental health awareness month we talking about. Put a gun in. Let me be considerate of these niggas.
The other part of mine is that confidence thrives on unselfish performance. So it says, but all as goes But as all goes well in the dating phase and a future is deemed viable, people with not you Siri, people with the commander personality type continue to impress with their creativity and energy. Their authentic confidence makes commander's sex life dynamic, to say the least, and they often push to explore new ways to express their affection with imaginative enthusiasm. Yet, commanders tend to have these innovations planned in advance with some structure and predictability to their sex lives, leaving the true spontaneity those less organized personality types.
Makes sense.
I sure as fuck be like playing like whole shits out of my head and like try to get that shit the way I would want to.
The way you envision it,
you know what I mean? Cause
music, playlist,
music,
everything,
the
no,
lights,
nah.
the angles, all type of shit. Like, cinematic in this motherfucker. Got the camera, this shit. I'm like, oh shit.
A great body.
Have a great body.
Someone whose mind they respect. I see that. Like motherfucking. Yeah. Logicians being from rudeness and bad manners instead of a point of pride. All you hear is rudeness. I was in here trying to find the good things about me.
That's it. You wanna when you get into friendships, see how that shit stacks up.
Did I send you that one?
I don't know.
Oh no! Matter of fact, for mine it says over time, many logicians, for my friendships anyway, learn that lively conversations and all-night brainstorming sessions may be fun, but they're not all that friendship is about. These personalities have an uncanny ability to see past superficial trappings, such as social status or how someone dresses, and appreciate the full potential of the person inside. In a world obsessed with fitting in, logicians can inspire their friends to buck convention, ignore trends, and find their unique voices.
Sound like you?
Pretty much. I ain't judgmental. Finally found a good thing about me. They said, so you kind of suck.
You're kind of a dick.
You're rude. But you find pride in that rudeness.
But you found...
You don't accept anybody that's not smart in your life. But you're okay.
You gotta figure it out. Keep going. My shit is that's so funny. As in most aspects of their lives and friendship, commanders seek personal growth and inspiration, and they often have a plan for how to accomplish it. Friendships of circumstances built on things like shared routines are not commanders' preferred method. Rather, they pursue their friends, seek out individuals who share their passion for deep, meaningful discussions, and who enjoy learning and develop as much as they do.
Boom.
It's not always easy to be commanders' friends. They demand a lot from these relationships, but they pay a great deal of attention to their friendships, and it is unlikely that they will ever feel stagnant.
You wouldn't let me leave the friendship. He said, nah, nigga.
But I mean, yeah,
that's real shit though.
That sounds about right.
Cause what is it? When I was in my, if like we listen back, anybody can pretty much tell by the conversations we have. I just be thinking too much, and so like when I was in my head, you had the clear thought to at least draw me out of that. It was almost like in Soul when they saved the
the dark motherfuckers,
dark souls, whatever they fucking call
the dark niggas.
They'll kill me for that. Be like, the dark niggas. Like, oh, you think you better? No.
You light-skinned motherfucker.
You dumb. Not at all. You know, the last nigga. You know what I mean?
But yeah, we all gotta, like, you know, just get ourselves out of that. And sometimes we do need help just getting ourselves out of that. Sasuke.
I'll take that, bro, because Sasuke.
Naruto was saying on everybody, like, we should just talk about this. Like, I don't want to do this. We should just talk about it, though, because I will hit you with this motherfucker and you ain't getting up. I told you. We should have talked about it.
He said, I told you. Stop hitting the table.
I told you. Stop hitting the village.
I was ain't gonna a long time ago. A real long time ago. Children. Village.
It's the best.
I wrote the Hokage 4. I wrote this song for Hokage 4. The real Hokage 4. Damn it.
It was the best thing I'd ever wrote from the both. But shit, man, like this part though, I saw the title of it. It said "Prisoners of Our Own Minds," and now I'm curious what the fuck this shit is. It says more enlightened commanders recognize that if ever there was an area where they could learn from others and improve themselves, it is in the realm of emotional sensitivity. To dismiss any aspect of personal growth borders on hypocrisy. Friendships with people from the diplomat type group can be especially rewarding for commanders, as the shared intuitive trait fosters instantaneous connections that can bridge the chasm between their uninhibited logic and the recognition that cooperation and conciliation can often accomplish more than that logic ever could alone. Sounds about right.
Yeah, like motherfucking I thought at first when you was mentioning it that they were saying that the commander needed to be leveled as far as having more being in tune with emotion and then needing a logical sense, but it was more speaking to the logical sense needing more of an emotional way in.
And I feel that, and the last part of the paragraph on here says, anyone who can match commander's ability to brainstorm and theorize will find an honest and dedicated friend. Anyone who can't or won't, as with many more down-to-earth types who often question the point of such discussions, will find themselves ignored. Perhaps a situation that is best for everyone.
Right.
But and it's like, that's why I was like, this is why this works, because
I was thinking about the Inception.
Yeah, like we don't shell out each other's like wild ideas and thoughts and feelings. We don't try to like, nah, nigga, you ain't bullshit. Like, we don't do that. Like, and if anything, we see that a lot of times in other people too. Like, people will bring up like a topic or an idea and be like, well, there's something to that.
Yeah. like let's explore that.
Let's unpack this.
Expound.
Have a great buddy. He said, I'm gonna rape my...
Oh, I said, I know what you was talking about.
He hopped in that fucking drawer and he said, everybody's great buddy.
I was like, I never heard that part before.
Yo,
like,
when he said that shit.
Like, oh no, I didn't know.
He's having a great buddy.
I only had some from the screenshot, so I can't like.
Oh, you didn't save it?
Yeah, like goddamn, that slipped. Because I had a bunch more, but I was just clearing out the phone. But I only got the little part from the strengths and weaknesses talking about dissatisfied. I don't know what it was talking about there, but logicians, it can't help but imagine how things could be better. Oh, great! Like I never get like it always be accurate shit too, but it's like a Debbie Downer. Like
we sound depressing as fuck. I'm like, damn. I think I got my nigga figured out.
Real shit.
My
He
nigga.
said how things could be better than they already are. These personalities are constantly on the lookout for problems to solve.
Nigga, Damon Downer.
Real shit. Is it, you said what? Damn it.
Damon Downer, not a
Damon
Damon.
I was like, damn it, Downer. Like, Damon Downer. That's what he said.
It's a black nigga version.
Yeah. Goddamn. Wait, oh yeah, these personalities are constantly on the lookout for problems to solve, topics to learn, and new ways to approach things. Taken too far, this mindset can become overwhelming, with logicians constantly trying to reinvent the wheel rather than reliably addressing their needs and responsibilities. Like me wanting to be a therapist without ever going to college.
You will find a way.
I'll make it happen, you son of a
this
bitch.
nigga, you will find a way to not do something that is already existing and working. Be like, nah, it can't be like that.
I want to be the first.
It's like, yo.
I just saw a Soldier Boy meme where it was like,
Soldier Boy wants to take claim for something or something like that.
it was like how you get him to appear, like you know how they do the Candyman.
Yeah.
It was like how you get Soldier Boy to appear in the mirror. And he went to the mirror and he was like, I was the first, and then Soldier Boy came up and was like, hold on, no, I was the first to do a whole lot of shit. That shit, I thought I sent it to you. Fuck. That joke was funny, and that's how I feel just now.
He came out the mirror like, you!
Dude.
He said, hold on now.
I'm mad I just did like a Shark Tale swim. I said, What the fuck? I thought I was. that ain't no way in how you do the dance. So like, I was trying to do the cape. Like, it's over. It's over.
This
But-
nigga shook his head.
That's why I was mad. I was like, I was there doing the.
Oh my god.
He said, "We made the matching." Oh man. But yeah,
What was he
man.
talking about?
Fucking, I said, Soldier Boy.
You were saying about you was like how like it mentioned cause I brought up it was like how logicians want to reinvent the wheel, and I was talking
Oh
about how,
yeah.
you know, now I remember what I was gonna say. I remember you were so adamant about this thing right here, like way back. You were like you would be like, man, when it comes to rap, man, like, you know, I'm not influenced by anything. Like, I don't want to be influenced by anything. Like,
Yeah.
everything is original. I was just like, but nigga, you listened to music before.
Yeah.
That's why you did music. Now I'm like, no, it's not like that. I always wanted to rap. I'm like, nigga, it wouldn't be rap if you never heard it before.
Yeah, I didn't invent
Yo,
it.
that shit
I
made
did
me
not
so
invent
mad.
it.
I'd be like,
But
yo.
man, I just knew. I swore I had like it took maturity for me to like motherfucking take that real look at myself and be like, I wouldn't know how to rap if I weren't influenced. Like it just, it's that simple.
And there's
like,
nothing wrong with people being influenced. And nowadays, obviously, you change your whole, you know, like mindset about that. We mentioned that last episode about, you know, the JVP.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay to be inspired. It's okay to be influenced. You know what I mean? It's a natural part of progression.
Yeah, see, in my head, like, you know, man of extremes, back then I was thinking like inspiration means unoriginal. So like, I didn't want to feel like I was inspired by anybody or anything because I wrote it.
Well, how do you feel about that now, though? Like,
Now I know what my inspirations were. Like, for example, I credit the fact that like I even got back into, cause I was rapping since I was like 6 and whatnot. But the fact of the matter was I stopped when I was in like 7th grade because I was rapping about a bunch of stuff that I wasn't doing, and I was just like, well, I'm good at this, but if it goes, if I take it there, then I'm gonna have to actually, you know what I mean? And so I just put it down, and when I did start listening to Watsky, it gave me perspective on how you could rap about yourself no matter how uninteresting you felt. And so like and you could just be yourself in the art, and so it brought me back into it. And goddamn, I used to, you know, call it poetry and stuff just because like it gave it less of the negative connotation when you say you rap. But yeah, you
That's
know, I know
kinda-
where my inspirations come from now.
That's kind of how I felt about when I first started like writing. Like Zay got me into writing heavy, cause he was writing, you know, writing stories and shit like that. And I was like writing stories like inspired by like Naruto and Dragon Ball Z and shit like that.
Right.
But then like what stopped me was just how I was like, man, like these aren't even my characters. You know what I mean? Like, these aren't even my, like, the worlds I'm creating. This is like,
It was like fan art.
yeah, it was like the fan fiction type things. I'm just like, man, this shit ain't real. Like, I don't want to do this. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't worth me going out my way to like create these, you know, things when I didn't even know like what these stories could be. It wasn't until I discovered Childish Gambino, and because of the internet, and it was a screenplay with that John, and I was like, a screenplay? That's a thing? And sure enough, my mind was like, boom, all over again. And it's like original stories now, and it's like it's inspired not only by the anime and manga that I've consumed, but it's my life, it's the music I've heard, it's the other shows and movies that I've seen, but it's still my world that I've created. These are my characters, these are the environments, these are my stories, my plot points. Like it's that now, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in that same vein, like you said,
Yeah, I was about to say that's dope how we've had that same journey in different fields of art.
man, listen, and nowadays, like, and I embrace the inspiration now just because it helped me get to where I'm at to this point.
Precisely.
You
Precisely. A lot of times that's also a thing that gets me fucked up because I'll be thinking of the inspirations that the people that inspired me in the game and whatnot, and then the age that they were at when they accomplished this and what they did and that, and that's when I get to, you're gonna lose every time you start playing the comparison game.
Yeah.
And so like,
I just keep reckoning back to you being like, man, I hate when Drake be like 25 sitting on 25.
right? In my head,
in my head, I'd be outwardly, I'd be like, oh, look, it's good, man. But in my head, I'd be like, man, who gives a fuck about this nigga at 25? That's not our lives. Like, that shit does not matter. You know what I mean?
I be feeling like I'm too late. Like, you know what I mean? I be seeing I be seeing the rate at which their success had to peak and whatnot, and I be like, man, if I'm not at this level at this age, then I have to put in this much work to do. I have to start accepting my path for my path, and like really, cause I know what I want for myself, and like however, I have to concretely look ahead and know that it's there, like instead of like when I take my focus off of that and I look at the successes that have made their way in their 25 years, and you know what I mean, like I just gotta stop comparing myself to success. Like, not even, well, I don't know.
It's natural.
I was about to say I don't, because part of me doesn't want to stop doing that. It's the carry.
Yeah, like it's natural to compare yourself, especially in a lane where the things that you want to do, people are successful at. Like I always look at least in my world, like the photographers or like the filmmakers, like a Ryan Coogler, you know what I mean, the nigga who made Black Panther and shit like that. Like, that shit was lit. You know what I mean? Nigga, a black man made a Marvel movie. You know what I mean? Like that meant so much to me. Donald Glover, like the nigga made a script for an album. Never heard of that shit before. Like, all these things that to me are like the pinnacles of what I want to do. But I also understand that it's those things where I'm not necessarily gonna be looking to do it just like them, but know and see that they've done it, so I can do it.
Yeah, revolutionize it.
Yeah, and
that's
then
how I feel about the music.
my own self is gonna make its own way the same way they made their own way too.
Precisely. And you know what? When I am in my more optimistic mindsets, it's easier to see it that way. Like when I'm having those days where I'm feeling like I'm on top of the world, that's when it's clear.
Right.
And I talk to you when I'm in those moods too, and like I'll just, or anytime you've seen me when I'm in that mode, like I'm just, everything feels like I'm doing it right, like everything is clear. And what's so hilarious about it is that like I'll still be doing it right when everything doesn't seem clear. I just don't know.
Yeah.
Like, and that's because I don't know. That's what'll fuck me up. That's what fucks up my consistency, because I'm sitting there thinking, you know, while I'm being consistent and making progress, but I'm not seeing results yet, I don't think I'm making progress.
That's the delayed gratification.
Right.
And that's the reason why we fluctuate week to week. Is because we're not seeing the results that in our head we're supposed to be getting. So, for example, we know every 2 weeks we're going to get paid.
Right.
We know that. We don't have to question that. It's already a set thing. But when it comes to our own personal goals and purposes, they're not going to come every 2 weeks. They're not even going to come in 2 years a lot of times. Like, it's that alone where you kind of have to be like, you know what's coming, you know what you set out for yourself, and now all you have to do is just focus on, again, the process, the work, the attitude, the mentality. Less about the end, less about the destination. And because it's coming.
With my brain, like that's probably another reason this discipline is going to come in handy. Like while I'm liking this little thing I got going on with Shawty, because like motherfucking focus, man, focus. And I know, like I said earlier, I don't have no picks. Like it's so many distractions out here for me, just because I like. All of them, like damn near.
you embody. I wish I could fuck every girl in the world.
Like it's bad. So like motherfucking and if anything, like that's bled into the way I communicate. Like I can't really communicate with women well now. I gotta rebuild that muscle, just cause like I've trained myself to really be so standoffish. Like you only get one part of me,
Mm.
and so I don't even give them personality these days anymore. Like I used to, that used to be what attracted them.
Right.
Like just this aura, this great personality. Like they liked me. Now, like I really just bank on my looks and my intellect.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm saying, like motherfucking. Yeah, because you know what I want. Like, and they respect that I'm so blunt and honest. It's just a matter of, I don't feel very mature, or as mature, if I can't hold interest in a woman that is greater than just the physical.
Mm. Yeah, that makes sense.
You feel me?
Yeah. So, and so every time we get back to this point of contention for you, where it's that like you know, you gotta debate, not debate, but necessarily have like this discussion in your head where like, you know, I'm this way for this reason, where I'm cold to these hoes. I only want to fuck them, but then a part of me also wants the a little bit more of something else from these women besides just like the.
I just want to be
fucking.
mature. I want to be better. You
So
know
what makes, why do you think what you're doing isn't mature?
I mean, I feel like mature, for lack of a better word. I feel like being a well-rounded person. I felt more well-rounded, at least when I was just more communicative. I remember being more social and more inviting, and how it attracted women, how I enjoyed their company and stuff. I don't know when it really switched. I think I just really got used to this lifestyle, and it had been a long time since I had even, you know what I mean, like, so, yeah, man. I just feel like when it's holding me back. It's got to be holding me back. Like, say, you know, a business, right? It can't be. It can only get but so successful without people.
Right, and doing the same thing over and over.
Right. So like, women are people. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're like, I feel like it's really going to stagnate my growth, just personally, my brain, if I don't like, if I can't be mature enough to see past sex.
You want to have meaningful experiences with people, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what that's kind of what, like, I guess lane I'm kind of living in. Last night it was Shorty's birthday, you know what I'm saying, and she invited me to this party her friends was throwing for her and shit like that. Now I was really weary about this. Last time I went out with a bitch, and it was a friend's birthday. Then I didn't enjoy it, but went to this anyway. This cousin was like, all right, you know what I mean, I want to go there for her. Like, it's her birthday, she cool, you know what I'm saying. And it was a nice little, you know, little shindig, whatever. Wasn't nothing crazy. Everybody was drinking, having a good time, you know, dancing and, you know, singing. But like, it's stuff like that where, had I just would have just been of the mindset of it's like, oh, I'm only just trying to just fuck this girl and not spend no time with her. Like, what kind of, for me at least, what kind of just, what experience does that leave for me?
Well, see, and this is why I suck, cause I can't convince myself out of this mindset. Like, on one hand, sure, it's mature to hold conversation, and then on the other hand, I'm like, I could hold a conversation. I just don't want to waste my time with these bitches. That's what that is. Like, goddamn, because when I think about it, like, motherfucking, like I said, I see the end before I even get there. Like, so. What am I really wasting my time for? I can't monetize this. I'm good, like, without it. I have been and I will always be. So like, what is it really doing for me? You know, and I can be so much more productive if I'm not distracted with feelings and all that bullshit and emotions. Like, Shorty, the one crutch that was pissing me off the other night was just the fact that Shorty was on my mind. I don't want to be thinking about nobody but me, and it's very selfish, but it kept me so focused. That's what a loveless life had done for me, and like, everything was just a shoulder shrug. I got over shit easy, cause fuck it, you know, I'm alone. Nobody can see this process, and so, like, yeah, I guess I understand where I'm coming from and why I'm the way I am. It's just, I don't be feeling like it's right.
You ever heard of the Pixar theory?
What's that?
So, Pixar Studios,
Yeah.
Toy Story, Finding Nemo. It's this theory that all the movies that they ever released are interconnected, that they are actually in the same universe. And it's on this one gigantic timeline, starting with
That is a familiar
starting with the
YouTube
good
video.
starting with the good dinosaur, ending at like Monsters Inc. or whatever.
Yeah, and Cars was like somewhere in the future after
Somewhere in
the
the middle,
apocalypse.
yeah, right. So, and Monsters Inc. being so far off in the future, right?
Yeah.
It's this theory that the reason that these are all connected, aside from the fact they're the same studio and stuff like that, is that they have this common theme, which is just people being together, and that people breed life. So in Wall-E, like how once the humans left the Earth, it was like distraught,
Desolate,
it was
yeah.
desolate. But Wall-E was the only living thing that was operating on the planet, and what came from that thing was that little plant grass thing in the boot, if you remember, like Little John.
Right.
That happened because Wall-E is a living thing. The reason why the toys could come to life is because Andy was alive and his essence brought them to life. The same reason why the bugs and the animals and stuff like that can talk and be these things is because like they were living in a society that bred human life. The same reason why these cars were living and talking and being and having this same human society, but there were no humans, is because humans were once around and those essences were together. I say all that to say that just us as people need people. And whatever sort of way we are going to obtain people, we need people to survive.
Be a dickhead. People need cars? I need a new car.
Have a great body. Fucking people need people to survive. We need people to like just build and innovate things, like to have a collective like thing to come up with decisions and like just things. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the embodiment of life in general.
It is.
And those human experiences that we share with people, depending on how much you care to partake in those things, will really determine the way in which you're gonna feel about yourself. I knew right away once I started, like one of the main reasons why I started doing door to door, I knew I wanted more human experiences. 'Cause at that time, it was just school, college, and just like job, real mundane, monotonous stuff like that. Didn't really go outside of myself to really explore too much. I joined door to door to explore.
I was fooled into it. And I needed the money. I ain't had no job. At the time, I was just like, because I wasn't even fooled into it. I wasn't even fooled into it because, like, I heard him, like, trying to, like, if you was, I don't know if they interviewed you the same way as they interviewed me, but they was, like, trying to beat around calling it door to door. Like, they didn't want to express that it was door to door because.
How did they interview? Did they interview at the office or, like, over the phone?
At the office, and then we drove to like Panera Bread and
y'all
like
ate lunch.
and
Did y'all go to the field after?
After
y'all ate, or y'all just sat there and talked?
This is the interview.
Yeah, during the interview. Did you go to the field?
No.
Our interviews were different. We took people to the field.
Yeah, see, the way they operated in my office, they tried to basically not let you know that it was door to door until you were hired, like until you were in, but I was listening to the language in which he was using, trying to beat around the way the sales was, because we've been in sales experiences, and so I was just like trying to really get to the bottom. And I was like, so this is door to door. It was like, define door to door. I could have smacked the shit out of this nigga. Define door to door.
That's like R. Kelly saying, well, how old is 16?
It's like, what? Nigga, too young.
That's the difference, though. Like, I was it was that. Like
they were straightforward
they
with
took
you guys.
me to the field. Like my leader, KT.
I was
like,
grateful for the experience. Don't get me wrong. It's just
he
I
took
like
us
that they
out.
was straightforward with
Like
y'all.
we went out to eat, you know what I mean, and I was asking questions. You asked me questions, and then we drove to the field, and I got to see the experience and everything of it, and that alone was just like, man, like I want to have this experience, whatever this is about to be. I know it's gonna be good for me. And then, i.e., me moving out just to be closer to that shit. You know what I'm saying? And getting more human experiences. Like, it added something to me that I felt like I was extremely lacking in at the time. And so with those things and that year I spent, I understood that I genuinely do enjoy just people. Not in every aspect, but I do enjoy people.
Yes, and I know like when I have a goal in hand, like when I was doing the sales thing, for example, and you have to hit your doors and have good interactions. I look forward to those. Like I look forward to seeking out interactions. I look forward to just like you said, people. I do like the interaction. And I know also people like me, and it's fun to share me with people, and it just comes with my own attitude and my willingness to bring myself out of the lows, or like, because a bad mood's a bad mood. If that's the thing about, that's why I got out of sales, so I could step back from it and be myself for a while, because like in sales, your attitude and your mentality is everything.
For sure.
And in factory work, I just use my hands.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If I had a bad day, I could take it out on the work. You know what I'm saying? So like a lot of times, like while it has been freedom to breathe again, it's less discipline on my mindset. And because what Door to Door had done for me, that I would never take away, is showing me the process, showing me processes, and showing me how to trust those processes when you follow that regimen. And so knowing is half the battle, so I got half the battle done. Now it's just the discipline to actually do that.
I must say, because all those things that we learned, like they're still
life,
they're still
tools.
applicable.
Yeah,
they're still
those are
very
tools for
applicable.
life, man.
Like I still go by the 8 steps to success
Yeah.
to this
Even
day.
though I forget them.
Like to this day, I still go by that shit, because man, like, does it help me like really understand, like, again, what it takes to actually do the shit you just want to do.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So
really entrepreneurial shit that they was teaching you. So like it's an education. Like my leader told me, she was like what she said, spending like as much time as we have in sales, that's basically a bachelor's degree in communications.
For real.
Like you know how to communicate with people.
I'll never forget this one time. I went up to Buffalo to get promoted and everything. That wasn't the reason why I went up there. It was a whole other thing, but that's why I was going up there to get promoted. And like one of the last few days I was up there, I was having a rough day. Over there in Buffalo, they broke up the territories in like 2 different days, so they'll give you like 300 leads, and you have to split them up between the like 2 days or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I was in the first part of my leads, and like the first door I knocked on, this white lady came to the door. She's like, "There's no soliciting in this neighborhood. Get out. I'm calling the cops." Instantly pissed. I was like, I called the manager who was up there at the time. Who's still up there? I was like, "Jenna is kicked me out of the neighborhood." She's like, "Okay, well look, go to the other territory. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna come out there and join you, this, that, and that." I'm like, "All right, cool." Go out to the other territory. That first one, it was like suburban, middle class neighborhood. The other part, straight white trash, like type time. Oh man, they was giving me hell in that motherfucker. No, slamming the door, call me an asshole, like everything. And man, and Jenna was right there the whole time watching me. She saw me physically like getting upset, and it's like in my head. And then it wasn't until like later on, like she had left, because I told her, I was like, I just want to do life by myself. I don't even want to be like bothered. Cause right now I'm just fucked up. You know what I mean? And then like one of the last houses I knocked on, I put my earphones in or whatever, because I was like, man, like I'm fucking tired of this shit. Knocked on that shit, and no one came to the door. I was gonna be done for the day. It was already past 8 o'clock. I'm walking, all I hear is from the back, hey. I'm like, and this old white lady's like, "Did you just knock on my door?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just out here with such and such. You have such and such." And she's like, "Come in, please. Come in." I'm like, So I go over there. I come in her house. She's like, yeah. She was like, yeah, my TV. She's like, look, it's flickering right now. I need help. And then I'm just like, well, I'll be damned.
Don't those be the moments?
Oh.
And that's what I mean by trusting that process. Door to door really shows you. If you keep going, you will get grace.
And like, people, and not only that, the second part is the people that lady was super interesting. First of all, she was like in her 60s or 70s. She had like a whole bag, or rather jar of fucking weed, or a little ass dog and everything like that. Like she was telling me how she used to like be like in this little, like, I guess you could say like a little hippie group up there or whatever, and how like her and her friends would get together.
So many interesting
like,
people.
yo, it was crazy, and she was great. Like she was so cool, down to earth. And she was like you want some? I was like, no. I was like, yeah.
He said, I got ass, but. He said, you got some edibles. You got some cookies.
They put it in a brownie. Have a great brownie.
Have a great brownie. He said, you a great granny. But motherfucking, you know when you get dropped off in that territory where like you would be better off having a car, but you don't. So like the houses are damn near a mile between and shit. Rocky was the only one with the car, so she was dropping me off, and she was showing a new guy, like, she was gonna be leading him, so she was just dropping me off to my territory. First house, like, got dropped off at, never left the entire fucking shit. This old lady was so interested, man. Like, we talked the whole time, and like, it all feels so genuine when you're there too.
Yeah, when you run into these people at their homes, like you don't know what's or who's behind that door, what kind of lifestyle they're living, who they are. I ran into this dude who was in the army. This nigga had fucking samurai swords all over his house. This nigga was an assassin.
Dude in Philly,
he was like
rich.
He was like, this better be legit. I'm like, it is. I was like, just don't kill me, nigga. I was so shook.
You meet some interesting motherfuckers. Like, dude in Philly invited me, like, up to the like house part of where his shit was, and he had old studios and shit. And his dad was like in the like you said, military and shit. They had a bunch of he just had a bunch of information that like you wouldn't know unless like you had connections and shit. And it was just like you meet a lot of a whole lot of interesting people in any sales like you do.
Yeah.
Like I mean old ex-cops and stuff, a lot of racists that you get to actually communicate with and break them down.
Yeah.
Like you're not bad. Like, and it's still belittling. However, like it's just like to have the mind of just escaping all your differences with people and just communicating.
Yeah.
That's it's really, I enjoy that. Yeah. I do enjoy that.
It was great. Like that whole thing was fucking great. Like the people, the experiences, the places, like the traveling.
For real, man.
Like the conferences and shit like that. I don't take none of that shit for
Can't
granted.
take it
like
back.
if I could do that shit all again, I definitely would.
Definitely
Same
would.
exact way.
Nah, man. I would hope I did it better.
I mean, because me personally, like of course there could have been some things I could have did differently, but I'm here now because of that shit.
See, same. And you know what? That's these are just mentality issues that I'm noticing. Like that is regret. I mean, that's not necessarily like because I shouldn't regret if especially if I'm grateful for my position now. I wouldn't have the mindset and the things that I do have in place without those experiences. Logical mind. I'm always thinking of what can improve. So like, yeah.
I think it's better off though. Like, if that's the case, what can be improved is always could be done more in a future thinking mindset.
Yeah,
and less in
exactly.
past
it also
mindset.
does say that like because we're future thinkers, like it's really hard to be present.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not even here. Like I'm thinking of like what's next and shit, and then that's it trips you up when you try to get too far ahead of yourself.
And that's why I say like being like in the day-to-day things, like and not succumb yourself to like so much in ahead of time. Like if you have shit planned out, your shit planned out. Let it be planned out and just do it. Just do it. Like it shouldn't be so like complicated. Shit is always way more simple than we actually lead to believe.
Well, now that you say that though, like goddamn, that puts that highlights what's the plan. I don't think I have a concrete plan. I think I know what I want.
We pod now.
Yeah, I know what I want. However, like and that's why time has just been so essential to me because like, I'm sitting here working, putting in these hours and shit at these W-2s, and it's just like, is this getting me toward my goals? Like,
Nigga.
I'm making money, but am I like? And so the time that I do take when the belt was down, so we got to get off work on Friday, and I tried to write raps and shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I literally, as one of the topics I put on here that I wanted to talk about, I said projecting our lives 1, 5, and 10 years from now. It's super important to not just go through life aimlessly, and it's super important not to just go through life, even as living day to day, just to live day to day. Otherwise, we can just be cavemen. You know what I'm saying? We have these things to achieve to find fulfillment in our lives. We don't have to make it so complicated to where the things that we want have to be like, I won't say difficult to achieve, but if you want it, it can happen. So, example, what would you want for yourself in a year? What would you want for yourself in 5 years? What would you want for yourself in 10 years? Like, that image you have in your head, like the lifestyle, the way you look, the money or the relationships, the family, like whatever that is, the career, creativity, like all these things come into play when you begin to set that plan, that life plan and these goals for yourself. And you begin to want to go through with that. Perfect example, when we sat at McDonald's and said we wanted to move to New York. It ain't exactly the way that we thought it would, but damn sure we was working towards it.
Nigga ended up in New York. I lived there for a semester.
Yeah, like that shit it happened in its own way. You know what I mean? Like, you have to kind of like just tell yourself like what do you really have to look forward to.
But that's the thing. That's what I've been banking on, and I guess shut the fuck up. I've been when I say I don't have a plan, I guess what is it? That's why I get so focused on the details in the future so much, because I have the vision of where I want to be, and I'm sitting in the vision that I had for myself years ago. So I know that I can do that, and it's what I am doing now. It's just sometimes like, like I didn't have a plan then on how exactly I was going to get here. So you know what I'm saying? It confuses me as to how it's going to work out without like all the little details. And
well, that's the thing.
You know what I'm saying?
And I always quote this book because it definitely helped me out, the power of consistency, and how it says that people know exactly what it is that they want to do. They even know how to do it a lot of times. They just don't do it consistently.
That's 100% right.
And a lot of times they overexert so much energy because they feel like they have to do so much, when in reality you'll get the most results and the outcome you want by doing one or two things. If you want to be a successful, whatever that means to you, successful rapper in the music industry, all you have to do is release music with visuals and promote yourself. It's not even that complicated.
Right.
The rest of that shit comes when you start to get to those other levels.
Right.
But the main thing is the music, the visual, and the promotion. And are people seeing it, hearing it, and are they like spreading it out to share with other people?
Well, as far as that goes, like personally, I was just talking to Lodge about that, like just how I don't take the music, or haven't been taking the music thing seriously, because I told myself years ago that I just do it because I love it. So, you know what I'm saying? I just do it as a hobby, and however, like when people say keep going, I mean, what will that mean if I don't just do it bigger? You know what I mean? So like I just never saw that being.
Well, keep going could be just like keep doing what you're doing right now.
Yeah, how? Because like when you said that, I just wanted to make it clear. Like I never saw hip hop or like I see myself being great and acknowledged. I don't see myself trying to make it a career. You know, like just because I don't want it to become draining. You know, I don't want it to become something that I depend on for to eat.
Hmm.
You know, and so that's where the plan and the friction comes into mind. I'm thinking about, so what do I do for the what are my skill sets that I can actually utilize and lean into that'll be something more fruitful for me. I was getting into something else before that. However, I forgot the point I was about to make.
I will say what I'll say to all that is just like as a logician that you are, it's best to just keep it simple.
Hmm.
It's best to keep it simple.
Put things in place. Yeah,
A lot of things it doesn't take a lot of thought. What I realized for myself is that
Concrete actions.
once not only that, but once you figure out the solution, that's the solution. There's nothing else to be thought about. Once you figured it out, it's figured out.
Oh, that's what I was about to say. Speaking of figure it out, thank you. I had a like phone consultation with sort of a therapist, you could call it, but like they was telling me the same concept pretty much. Like as I was explaining to them my mindset of when he was rebuttaling, not necessarily rebuttaling, but repeating back to me, it was just like uh, you know. Forgive my phraseology, but sounds like you have an understanding of life. You got it by the balls. It's just a matter of you don't like it. Because I explained to him like down to the simplest, like down to my extremes. I I'm very blessed to be in the position I'm in. I just don't enjoy life. Like the whole experience on the good days is great, but it gets monotonous. Like you mentioned, like it's just like one of those I didn't ask to be here things. So like now you gotta be part of the construct that was created in this world. Like existing is work, death is easy. Like it's life that's treacherous, and so you get tired. At least if you have the mindset I do, and that's where he was bringing me to. It's just like you already know what you need to do, and you have like the tools. It's just a matter of bringing your mind. It's mind over matter type shit for me. But that's what it reminded me of when you said that remark.
For
My
sure.
bad.
No. I was taking all that in because like and to add to his point, it's like dog, like it's you kind of have to. Well, I won't say you don't have to. You can do whatever the fuck you want, but as much as you say you probably you don't like life. If that was the case, you
I'd be
wouldn't
dead already.
you wouldn't be here. Like, there's parts of life that you do enjoy.
Yeah.
I think it's a whole lot of like other things that are unresolved. One and two, find it within yourself to understand that there are things out here that and you've experienced it that you can find joy in.
Yeah.
That you can be happy about, and that it's more to it than just what's around you.
All
And like
mentality.
it's more than just what's like near. Like it's everything. It's the
Yeah.
world. You know what I mean? And shit. For all that, like fucking buy a van and just drive around the country. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, like it can be whatever the fuck you want it to be. If you don't want to be in the way of how society is set up for you, you don't have to. Like if you don't even want to be in this country, you don't have to. Like we have these choices and these
Nah, I mean
options.
like life is like it's work. Life is work. You can't be lazy in life in any way you put it, or else you're just gonna starve. You know, it's just a issue of my bad mentality on the bad days, because what is it? It's like playing a video game. That's how I made an analogy of it for him to understand. It's like you just don't want to play no more sometimes. Like goddamn, I mean, it just you're in the game. You didn't ask to be playing it. But like you don't want to play no more. You feel stuck in the game. Because it's all. It's kind of like when they was talking about the concept of
free will and all that.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's all just like it's all part of something bigger, and then it's all small at the same time. So it's just like sometimes you just get bogged down with all that. You're like, man, fuck all of this.
I would say I feel you.
But yeah,
I understand.
It's a bad mentality to. It's an extreme, I'll say. It's an extreme. Because on a good day, shoot, I'll fight to live. I'll kill you. But on a bad day, I'll take you with me. Shit.
But man, like, just because, like, you know, I know you and I love you and I respect you, dog. Like, it's like there's so much more. Like, there's
we working on it. You know, we working on it.
You know what I mean? And the more and more, like, you begin to just, like, live life and, you know, take yourself out of, like, your comfort zone and begin to just experience certain things, like, you know, and you've already experienced a lot, but it's not everything.
Right. There's more to life,
it's
man.
So, I'm like, and I'm only saying that now because that's been, like, my mind this past, like, few months.
Man.
Because I'm just, like, I'm now entering another phase of my life. A whole other one. I'm still 23, and I'm still, like, I haven't stopped growing. Like I said, it's been like a steady ascension since I've, like, just became a young adult.
I think my mom had this thing of, like, if you're not growing, you're dead. No, like,
not for real.
Like, yeah, that's it. So,
but trust me, though, this shit is lit.
Good.
This shit is fucking lit, and everything is really going the way.
I'm excited.
This shit too.
Today.
This nigga said today.
Today. My man. Well, with that being said, man, like, I think we're going to go forward. This is episode 4.
Yeah.
We're going to go forward on the episode 5. I look forward to seeing where state of mind I'm in then, because I tell you what, I failed no fact. And I was talking all that shit last episode, talking about so goddamn, oh yeah, don't limit me. I'm better now.
Look, dog, I'm telling you, it's the process. I told you about me, like, this Monday, like, this past, like, Monday, like, I fucking slipped up, and I was just like, damn, like, here I go, but it's, again, a part of the process. It's the journey.
Process.
Like, you're going to fuck up. I told you that. He was like, oh, no, man.
I said, no, I'm better now, you know.
I said, all right.
I feel different.
I told you, I said, you have that moment when you really feeling it and you're going to look at something.
I felt hella different when I was so mad watching that porn. I was like, oh, told me it's going to come a day. I'm sitting here and
I
you
told
don't
you.
want to watch it.
Over your shoulder,
it's
like,
going to be hard.
You're going to come.
I said, oh no!
Look, I told you.
I was over there upset. I was sitting on the bed. I was looking like, I'm a failure. Might as well go again.
Now see, that's where it needs to stop.
I told you I'm a dude of extremes.
That's where it needs to stop. Because like I said, for me, I did it once and I was just like,
I bust like 8
stopped.
times that.
I stopped. I was like,
after that, I was like, fuck that.
And that really
Cheat
goes
day.
back. And they say that porn too is a matter of instant gratification too. That we have to
gratification,
eliminate. We have to.
And
eliminate.
I'm trying. Yeah, I got to get that out of my system, man.
Because the process is that you want to, again, just to rearrange your focus to something in life you want to work towards, and all, like, the women and sex really just are really not that important.
Dog, even in our childhood, now I'm seeing, like, look at that. You could go once and stop. I had to, like, what, you know what I mean? We was on Omegle, like, I always just take it too far, like.
It's self-control.
Control. There you go. Thank you. I was like, what do I need to do? Oh yeah.
Control my goddamn.
I said nobody control me. Not even me.
You can control me. I'll control me.
I said, Discipline? No. Denying myself all the good things in life.
But look, as far as I've seen, though, you definitely made a whole lot of like progress. Just
Oh, yeah, we
since,
getting there, man.
Since I've known you, you know what I mean, and it's only up from here. You know what I'm talking about? Like, that shit is what it is.
It's because of this yin and yang too. This is part of one of the elements that have fed the mentality. So I appreciate you, pimping.
Yeah, dog. You my
Hey,
nigga
dog.
for real.
Jerry Birds.
We out this bitch.
I'm mad. No. Hell, you know that shit. Where did I think I was going?